Well, let's go ahead and get started. We're about a minute early, but I think everybody's probably here that's going to be here. And we're going to continue tonight with something called critical position zones. Now, last week, and we need to review just a little bit about that because the basic premises are very important. And that was the theory of 26, developed by Delin Culver. It's based on the assumption that in two deals, with a crib and two sets of pegs as the dealer and the non-dealer, and two hand scores as the dealer and the non-dealer, that you'll have 26. The idea being if you do that and repeat that, you'll be the person who wins the game most of the time. Now sometimes it doesn't work because your opponent's not getting 26 per their share. They're getting 31 or 32. So, but there are some things about that are important. Besides having some understanding of where you are on the cribbage board. And the first one is, if you win the opening crib, your role in the game is to play defensive. Make it tough for your opponent to peg. Slow the game down. If you win the opening crib, your objective is to slow the game down. Because most games go 9 deals, and the dealer's count of the first game is counting first on the 10th deal. So if the dealer doesn't get out on the 9th deal, he's counting first on the 10th deal. So the idea is you slow the game down, it's to your advantage. You take the safe pegs. If you are not the owner of that first crib, you're sitting there with just a hand, and the disadvantage of no crib and dealer pegging advantage, you didn't get that either because you lost the cut. Then you play offensively. You go for all the points you can get. If you get a 12 hand, you don't be smug about it, you try to peg 3 or 4. In other words, you try to get all you can out of that first hand. And the closer you get to 16 or 17, the closer you come to maybe stealing the dealer's advantage on the first hand of the game. So you would take risk on the pegging, and you'd take risk on your discarding on that first hand. For instance, if you picked up a hand with a 5, a 10, and 2 jacks, and a pair of 7s, you would pitch the pair of 7s. You might not do that later in the game. If you like where you were on the board, you might play the 5, 7, and the pair of face cards for 6 instead of 8. But first hand of the game, as non-dealer, you're going to go for all you can get. You're going to go for all the hand potential, and you're going to take all the pegs that present themselves, even the ones that look risky. So, now, suppose the theory of 26 is just that. Suppose for most people who play this game, they're going to fall short of 26. Maybe you're short of 24. The reality may be 24 or 25. I encourage you to keep track of some of your games. Now, when you do that, always be sure and ask your opponent if they object to your recording results of the game as you play it. Some people are intimidated by seeing you writing, and they generally will tell you if you ask them up front, I prefer you wouldn't. If they have no objection, record the results. Don't record results for record purposes from inferior players. If you're keeping track of board position or you're keeping track of discards or what have you, somebody that doesn't know what they're doing will distort your statistics. So don't record results from inferior players. Okay. In the packet you have, there's one that's marked 8-2. I want you to take a look at this. Now, believe me, I did not record these results on this kind of a chart because when I was doing these statistics, I didn't even have a computer. Nobody knew what a spreadsheet was. So I did these the old-fashioned way on tablet paper, and then when computers came along, I had a file cabinet full of tablet papers with all these figures written on them, and so I copied them onto computer spreadsheets. We got a couple right here. Okay. But I want you to take a look at this because I've got two of these in fact, on your copies, I did them back to back. So there's two of these spreadsheets. I had 25 of these, 1,000 games. And so you have two of them. But what I've done here, I circled the times, the games in which I did not achieve 26. See how many circles there are on there? 40 games. 40 games, 22 of the 40. I didn't make it. Now, take a look at some of those games where I did make it. What is the high score? Wow, I see a 36 down here in one place.
36, yeah.
Now, how about those that don't make 26? They're pretty close to 26?
25.
Well, this is what happens. You see, I was an old budget officer, and we always talked about the bottom line. I'm going to show you a set here of 72 games where I made the bottom line. Bottom line shows 26. But like these charts, the majority of the games, I don't get 26, and the bottom line is distorted because when I go 26, I might go way over it. But on the other end of it, those lower scoring games, they're not far below 26. Might be 24.3, you look down here, there's 25.35, 24.2, 24, 24, 23.95. There are a few down around 20, if you'll notice. But as a rule, you'll find that the games where I don't make 26 are a lot closer to 26. And the ones where I hit 26 may in fact be 30 or better. And take a look at the one on the back because it's even worse. I hit 29 games there. Out of 40, only 11. Only 11 out of 40 where I got 26.
But a lot of those were close again, George. 25, 25, 25,
Yeah.
25.
And that's, I think you're going to see why the critical position zone concept is important, more so than just focusing on a single hole in the board for that reason. But you see, these are typical. If I brought all 25 in, most of them would be just like this, 22 to 29 out of 40 that I didn't make the theory of 26. Most people think I'm a good pegger. I think I am. I think offensively I'm as good a pegger as most anybody in the game. Defensively, I give up a little more because I'm thinking about outdoing my opponent on the pegging. So if they have the right kind of cards, they can take advantage of me. Discarding, I play the numbers. So I think I'm making the correct discard. I won't play no hunches. No hunches, whatever. This discard is worth this amount of points, and this one is worth this amount of points. Yeah. I'm going to make the safest one I can. If I need to be defensive in your crib score, I'm going to make the safest discard I can make in my hand. By the same token, I'm going to look at building my own crib.